Hold up, here it's Duncan! Hate to break it to you city dwellers out there, but politicians and the media have been crap at telling you this referendum's going to have quite the impact on us rarely seen but dearly loved creatures of the land. So, in an ode to my bacon producing and cow milking pals, I'm going to briefly explain how this vote on June 23rd might affect farmers like me and the food you buy from the supermarket. Now, because we're a member of the EU, the farming business has access to the cap, which means farmers like me get enough mular to increase farming productions, maintain market stability, and make sure agricultural goods and reasonable prices are always available for you in your supermarkets. You're welcome! Folks from around the EU can come work on the farm thanks to the EU labour market, and we've got access to the single market. But we do have to adhere to these EU laws and regulations. And we import nearly twice as much agri-foods from the EU than we export. So a lot of the farming community are up in a tizzy about this referendum. So, what can happen if we vote to leave on June 23rd? Hypothetically, we could lose access to the cap. Our farm might find it difficult to employ seasonal labour if we don't agree a new free movement deal. And the chances are you lot might not take these jobs. Supporters of leaving say as we'd no longer have to pay for EU membership, farmers like me could instead rely on subsidies from the UK. And they say that CAP only favours more wealthy farms than boosting all farmers. What about food prices? Would they go up or down? It all depends on the deal that's arranged if we leave. Say access to the single market is agreed, then hopefully food prices should stay the same. But if not, food prices could rise a little in order to facilitate goods being traded in and out of the UK. But again, it's a bit of a guessing game, I'm afraid. We can still access the cap. It probs needs reforming. David Cameron did have a crack with his EU reforms, but it didn't come to much. But if we stay, we're in a better position at the negotiating table and we can still access the single market. So yeah, again folks, no EU member state has ever left before. So if we stay, the farm continues largely as is. If we leave, it'll be like me hitting up the pub with the lads on an empty stomach. The memory might be a little patchy, but I'll probably be fine after a bacon butty.